Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, January 28th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. A couple of quick clarifications. First off, number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market is still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represent 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol NVDA. Unless you were living under a rock today, I'm assuming you know that things got really pretty dramatic in the markets, and it all started with NVIDIA as being one of the kind of main things on the receiving end of a very rough day here. But nonetheless, we now have a pattern here that I think a lot of people will be watching. And I make that comment because when a lot of people are watching the same patterns on a very popular stock, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So let's get this pattern drawn into play. So we have the resistance, or excuse me, the support part of the pattern right there. We have the resistance portion right there, and this is what I would call a falling wedge pattern, which is actually a bullish pattern. So let me change this to same color to make it a little easier to see. Now let me be very clear, just because there's a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go upwards, but it's not unreasonable to think that if the price is able to come up here and get a break up through the top part of the pattern right there, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure, especially when it's on such a popular and well-known stock such as NVIDIA. So that's really, in my mind, just keeping it simple here. Very common pattern, very evident pattern, and now it's just a question of can the price get the push up through it, and if so, does that bring in the NVIDIA bulls? We'll see what happens with it. Next one, ticker symbol HOLO, and yeah, this one has been a train wreck. Very ugly, but for you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly. So no doubt about it to think that this thing gapped all the way up here and it's just fallen. But now it's sitting at a very interesting area of the chart, that being the purple line there, the 50-period moving average. And you can see so far so good. The price has really been respecting that as a support. But just to give this thing a little bit more leeway, let's change this to green for support. An interesting dynamic here would be the gap close right here, meaning that this thing gets even more ugly, and that's where you want, where things just get so ugly that it doesn't seem like anything will ever go back up or turn around, because those are the moments where, if you have any experience, things seem to turn around. So, like I said, not guaranteed to happen. That's why risk management matters. But can this thing close the gap? And if it does close the gap, does that provide the bounce point right there? Now, if you're not going to be disciplined, if you're not going to honor stop losses, I mean, you shouldn't even be trading, but you definitely shouldn't be trading scenarios like this. But if you can be disciplined, then from a risk versus reward scenario, you could construct a very interesting risk versus reward, set of circumstances here. So if you like this price range, if you like these kind of ugly or opportunity in the ugly situations, then keep an eye on it. Next one, HWH, and overall, the chart's hanging in there. There is a little perspective that goes into it. I mean, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you're buying up around here and your plan is to buy and sell within 13 minutes, well, then from that standpoint, yeah, the chart's not looking very good at all. But with the pullback here, the price does still have the opportunity to build higher bases. So, I mean, even if we're, right now you can see this set of lows, which is higher than this set, which is higher than this set. On top of that, you have the price still above not only the pink line there, 200-period moving average, still above the 50-period moving average purple line there. So, yes, big picture-wise, the price does still have that opportunity to build a higher low, which is what it's all about from an overall standpoint. Nothing can go straight up. You do want to show progress, and in this situation, showing progress, quote-unquote, would be staying above these various areas of support. So, if you do like to play pullbacks, then, yes, you have a couple of choices, maybe right here. Is this the bottom right here? I mean, I can understand that rationale. Maybe you're saying, no, Clay, I'd like to try to see if it can come down to that area right there. That's totally valid. Maybe you want to see it come down there. So that's where you got to kind of figure out what you think makes the most sense. Of course, if you want to wait for that level, sure, you could get a great entry. But if it never goes down there and then goes back up, well, you've totally missed the trade. So give and take in that regard. And then in regards to levels of resistance, main area here seems to be right around that 56-cent mark. So if you like penny stocks, here you go. Next one, RGTI, and yeah, very rough day on this one as a pullback continues. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these lines here as they've served their purpose for now. And from a presentation standpoint, I don't want to risk confusion because there's clutter everywhere and lines. So let's try to keep this clean as possible. I'm also actually going to go ahead and get rid of that level because now at this point, the main area of resistance, and this is just based on a foundational rule in charting, that states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. And going into today, that pink line there was the area of resistance, but with the price down below it, you can see right there, played out perfectly. Resistance, resistance, fake breakout back down. So moving forward, if this move continues back up, that'll be key battleground number one right now at $12.80. Can the price break up through there? If it can, then don't get overly excited because not that far away. You then have the purple line right there, which you can see is acted as resistance on that fake breakout right there, and that's currently valued at $13.38. Now on the flip side of supports, preferably speaking now, if the price can begin to stay above this little miniature trend line here that has formed, that would be best case scenario, because by staying above that line, that does imply the price is building higher lows, which is the name of the game. But yeah, no doubt about it, a rough way to start the week. Next one, SOFI, and hopefully you know right where I'm going to go on this one when I talk about supports here. But yes, if you have not kind of seen what I'm seeing, that's okay. Maybe you're new to charts, but key area of support, definitely all about the pink line right there, 200 period moving average. You can see a small little false breakdown, and then from there, just multiple times this afternoon, price has done a fantastic job of respecting that. So no need to overcomplicate this at all. It's all about that pink line, 200 period moving average moving into Tuesday. And then in regards to levels of resistance, main battleground seems to be right here around this congestion point of about $16.40. Yes, sometimes the price didn't quite go up that high, and other times the price did go up above there. So like I said, just trying to find a middle ground right around that. In fact, let's just make it the nice round number of $16.50, because then you're at the $16.50 mark too. So $16.50 going to be the main battleground if this little miniature bounce continues. But as of now, things are looking pretty shaky, but to give credit where credit's due, so far so good in regards to respecting and holding above that 200 period moving average. Real quick, want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage there that you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, ticker symbol TNXP. Did this one a few days ago, and you can see this pattern here that I drew into place. Just a beautiful example of it. Came up, broke through there, very nice. And I do that because we essentially have the same. In fact, there's another one of the same pattern. And then today we have the same pattern. So in other words, we have a whole lot of bull pennants that continue to form on this one. So that's going to be the goal here, is let's just get this newest bull pennant mapped out. So the top part of the pattern and resistance, again, very, very straightforward trend line to draw, which brings about those potential self-fulfilling prophecies. Because like I said, that's not a great discovery on my part. That's not a bunch of talent. A lot of people have done that. Therefore, a lot of people watching it, and potential self-fulfilling prophecy area of a breakout. And then in terms of areas of support, we have that lower part right there. So keep an eye on this. Very, very clear wedge right here. And again, just to really reiterate, a lot of people are watching this wedge. So it's not like anything is, a needle in a haystack. And it's really just a question of who is ultimately going to win this battle. Do the bulls win with the break to the upside? Do the bears win with a break to the downside? We'll see what happens with it, but grab your popcorn because it's looking like we're going to get some sort of answer on Tuesday. Next one here, MLGO, and I like this one because it's got two very well defined, but I think pretty well defined areas. So from a resistance standpoint, maybe you already noticed how the price has been behaving around that pink line after the opening 30 minutes. Next 30 minutes came up here, rejected, rejected, rejected. So moving forward, that seems to be the main battleground here from a resistance standpoint as it continues to move itself downwards. So if you're some sort of breakout trader, then yeah, that 200 period moving average certainly seems to be the thorn in the side right now of the bulls, and that would be, of course, not a guaranteed breakout point, but if it can break out through there, totally valid to think that that could generate more upside buying pressure. And then in terms of areas of support, main battleground to watch if the price comes down some more, going to be right down here around the $1.73 mark. Again, nothing fancy here, just a matter of that's where the buyer stepped in earlier on in the day. So a couple of pretty well-defined areas. If you like this price range, then definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and like a lot of these stocks, absolutely beat down today, but we have ourselves another one of these falling wedge patterns. So there is the support part of it. There is the resistance portion of it. So yeah, another falling wedge as mentioned with NVDA. Just because it's a falling wedge, just because it's a bullish pattern, is not guaranteed for sure it's going to go up. But totally valid to think that if the price can push up through this area right here, you could get some nice price movement and potentially come up here and retest these moving averages right here. Now, what does the price do at those moving averages? Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, the chart suggests they would act as resistance, but there are no guarantees. But my point here is that a break of this level, especially if it's a high volume break, there's some room to run before you get into areas of resistance. So we'll see what happens with it again. So NVIDIA, Tesla, maybe the most popular stocks out there, very well-defined falling wedge patterns. Let's see if the bulls can indeed get a bullish breakout. Next one, AMD, and again, in the same sector that was beat down. So just want to get several of these mapped out because you got to think a lot of people are watching them. Now, this one's a little interesting because technically speaking, this breakout has essentially already occurred. Now, that's not the most clean trend line, but I'm just trying to illustrate the fact that it's basically been straight down. But this afternoon, the price has already broken through that area. So if you're a breakout trader, then yeah, technically speaking, you missed the trade. However, this is where things lead to always a very popular, very exciting question. And that question is this: is this the start of something bigger? Now think about that question. It makes no sense to ask that question if nothing worthwhile has happened. But in this situation, something worthwhile has happened. Therefore, yeah, is this breakout the start of something much bigger? To be fair, maybe it's not. Maybe this is the false breakout and it rolls back over. But that is a two-sided coin because, well, I mean, maybe it is the start of something bigger, and this thing's getting ready to rock and roll back in the upwards direction. So yes, this trend line has been broken, and the basic question, but powerful question, is this breakout the start of something even bigger? Let's see what happens on Tuesday. Next, SOXL, absolutely beat down today, but now, like some of these other ones, it's starting to show some life. I mean, like I said, right here, basically straight down. Then you got some sideways movement. And now as I speak, you have a little bit of upwards movement. So once again, I wanted to just end with the question, is this the start of something bigger? Because it might not be, but it's a completely valid question to ask, especially when the price action. I want to go through it again because it's important. Whole bunch of sellers. Then all of a sudden the price has just gone sideways. Now all of a sudden the price is starting to creep back upwards. So it brings about the question, are the sellers finally gone? Have the buyers taken back over control? Which brings us back to the question of, is this the start of something bigger because the buyers have taken back over control because the sellers are basically done selling? Maybe not, maybe so, but from a technical standpoint, it makes it an interesting situation to watch. So we'll see what happens with it, and we'll see if this is indeed the beginning of the bulls taking back over as the sellers have kind of panicked out enough or just sold enough. So it'll be interesting to see if this bounce continues on Tuesday. So that wraps up the top 10 list. And again, if you like what you saw here, then definitely go get signed up for the free live webinar. It'll be later this week, Thursday, January 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. Then as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, if you would like for me to continue to make them, and you want to just support the channel in a very free and easy way, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help out. So thanks for watching. Take care and make sure you get signed up for that free class.